Assalamualaikum, magandang hapon. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 14th International Collaborative Lecture Series with the proposed topic, Data Preprocessing is the key of data science with some study cases. This event is organized by collaboration between Universitas Bhayangkara Jakarta Raya and University of Mindanao. Before we begin, let me introduce myself. My name is Aji Finizar Pratama, and I'm your host today. In this beautiful moment, I would like to welcome Dr. John Vianney Murcia, Director, Institute of Economy and Enterprise Studies, Ms. Iza Montederamos, Linkage Officer, Mr. Benji Mainopas, Information Assistant, Ms. Kate Dries Tansinko, Student Development Coordinator, Mr. Randy Ardena, Faculty College of Computing Education, Ms. Keris Barbosa, the Internship Coordinator College of Computing Education, Dean of Faculty of Computer Science Universitas Bhayangkara, Dr. Tiastuti Sri Lestari. The main speaker in this seminar, Dr. Mujiono Sadikin, Mr. Chairman and of the committee and all of audience who has come in this event. Ladies and gentlemen, on this nice occasion, let me deliver to the structure of the event today as follows. The first is the opening by listen to National Anthem of Indonesia, followed by National Anthem of Philippines. The second is the opening remarks from Dr. Tiastuti Sri Lestari as Dean Faculty of Computer Science Universitas Bhayangkara Jakarta Raya. The third is the general lecture, which delivered by Dr. Mujiono Sadikin and will leading by moderator Mr. Alan De Alexander. The fourth is discussion response to the speaker by Dr. John Vianney Murcia. The fifth is the question and answer session. The sixth is awarded certification appreciation from the dean to the speaker and moderator. The seventh is closing. Ladies and gentlemen, let's listen to the National Anthem of Indonesia followed by National Anthem of Philippines. Ladies and gentlemen, step on the following agenda is the opening remarks from Dean Faculty of Computer Science, Universitas Bhayangkara, Jakarta Raya. Please welcome Dr. Tiastuti Sri Lestari.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Magandang hapon po. The Honorable Rektor Universitas Bhayangkara Jakarta Raya, Irjen Polisi Purnawirawan Dr. Andes Bambang Karsono, S.Ha, FM. Vice Chancellor Universitas Bhayangkara Jakarta Raya, Prof. Tatang Arigumanti, PhD. Vice Chancellor Universitas Bhayangkara Jakarta Raya, Dr. Dia Ayu Permatasari. The main speaker in this seminar, Dr. Mujiono Sadikin MT, Lecturer of Fakulty Computer Science, and Dr. John Pian Mursia, Director Institute of Economy and Enterprise Studies, University of Mindanao. Mr. Chairman of the committee and all of audience who has come in this event. Welcome to 40 International Collaborative Lecture Series of University of Mindanao and Universitas Bhayangkara Jakarta Raya. We are very grateful to Dr. Mujiono Sadikin MT and Dr. John Pian Mursia for taking the time to give us public lecture with the theme Data Preprocessing is the key of data science. This public lecture activity is to support lecturers and students of the informatics study program, especially those who want to competence in data science. Data preprocessing is the process of transforming raw data into an understandable form. It is also an important step in data mining as we cannot work with raw data. The quality of the data should be checked before applying machine learning or data mining algorithms. Preprocessing of data is mainly to check the data quality. The quality can be checked by the following: accuracy, completeness, consistency, timelines, believability, and interpretability. Major steps in data preprocessing: data cleaning, data integration, data reduction, and transformation. When we talk about data, we usually think of some large data set with huge number of rows and columns. While that is likely scenario, it is not always the case. Data could be in so many different forms: structured tables, images, audio files, video, etc. Thus, it is hoped that students who take part in the public lecture today will get very useful material. And congratulations on attending to public lecture. Hopefully, this event will be carried out well. Thank you. Selamat po.
Thank you very much to Dr. Tiastuti Sri Lestari for the opening remarks. The next agenda is the general lecture, which delivered by Dr. Mujiono Sadikin and leading by moderator Mr. Alan D. Alexander. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to Dr. Mujiono Sadikin and Mr. Alan D. Alexander.
Thank you, Mr. Ajif, and good afternoon, everybody. Today we're gonna hear about the speaker, so Mr. Mujiono. I think I don't have to introduce him because our dean already introduced him first, right? And actually, formally, I will read his curriculum vitae. Dr. Mujiono was graduate from doctoral program in Indonesian University. So recently he is become our lecturer in computer science, and he is very professional because he held some professional certificate like Isaka Chisa, Isaka CGA IT, and everything, and so much more. Okay, today we're gonna hear about data understanding and data pre-processing in data mining and data science. Now the time is yours, Mr. Mujiono.
Okay, thank you so much, Pak Alan. Is my voice clear, Pak Alan and everyone there?
Yes.
Thank you so much. So before I start, let I share the screen. Is my PowerPoint shown there?
Not yet, bro.
Not yet. How about this, Pak Alan?
In progress. Okay, just start the slideshow.
Is it okay?
Okay, good.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much, Pak Alan. The Honorable Dr. John Vianney Murcia, Director of Institute of Economy and Enterprise Studies, University of Mindanao. The Honorable Dr. Tiastuti Sri Lestari, our Dean of Fakulty Komputer Science, Universitas Bhayangkara. Pak Alan, Pak Ajif, and also all other friends from University of Mindanao. Sorry, I cannot say or state one by one, but my respectful for all of you. I'm honored to be invited in this event to share some of my few maybe, knowledge and experience regarding the data mining or data science. So in this event, allow me to share the experience and my knowledge in data science, that the topic is data understanding and data processing is the key in data mining or data science. This is my profile that has been introduced by Pak Alan, but if some of you want to know more about me, please, you can Google it. Right now, there is no data height, no profile height in the world. You can find everywhere, everything in the internet. So do I. Okay. I'm trying to make the presentation in the 5 parts. The first part is the background that underlies why I choose this topic. Then I will convey the brief of data understanding and data pre-processing that actually maybe most of us have been familiar with it. I will also introduce the standard of professional worker for Asian country that called as AQRF. Maybe some of you have know about the AQRF, but I think it is important to share this knowledge about AQRF to our students, so they will know what and how the standard of professional workers in Asian country like is. And in the end of the presentation, I will discuss or present 2 of our research result study regarding the data understanding and data preprocessing. And of course, we need to discuss some topic about the data, we can discuss in the later on the end of this session. Okay, why I choose this topic to be presented in this event? Because I saw some reason, some maybe according to my knowledge and my experience, is some important thing that underlie why I choose this topic. Some of them are the first thing, that the fact that the cleaning and organizing of data, of course, include understanding and progressing, is consumed more than 60% of time and effort in data mining or data science projects. The other tasks that consume effort, then the next sequence is collecting data, 19%, modeling and machine learning application maybe 9%. So we know that data cleaning and data organizing is very important part in this project, in data mining and data science project. The other reason also is stated by Jaya et al. In the introduction data mining book. It's the classic data mining book. The authors state that data preparation, cleaning, and transformation compromise the majority of work in data mining application. Even 19 consume 90%. So it is impossible for us to solve any problem regarding data science and data mining project without knowing and understanding about our data. Okay, and I assume, in my opinion, our student must know regarding how the position and what has to have by them, so they can compete in professional work later after they graduate. So I try to introduce this standard ASEAN qualification reference standard that I try to adapt it in data science and data mining field, which is the analysis, application, and complex problem solving in data science field. Nowadays, most of the time we generate data. Most of the device that we use generate and produce the data. And we know based on several surveys that the time we use for sleep maybe is less than the time we use for our cell phone and notebooks and other device that produce the data. So it is easy to be understood that data is everywhere, and data is generated by everything. Even our president also have stated, Pak Jokowi, that today data is the new oil. It is shown that how important the data is. But like oil mining, we have data mining. But actually data mining term is a little bit biased, because if oil mining, we mine oil from sand, from mud, from maybe dirty water, and so on and so on. But in data mining, actually, something that we mine is not data, but knowledge. But yet still we use the term of data mining. It is, I think it's no matter as long as we understand what the mean is. In this picture, in this illustration, I want to show to all of us that the mining of data, mining knowledge, is more and less same process with mine of oil or other materials. There is need many effort, high cost of effort, time consuming, full labor maybe, and so on. But also there is a risk in this mining. Like oil, there is a risk, some risk. If you get a fire, a sea, get the raw oil, and so on and so on. Yes, this is the common process of data mining, starting from data collection, data preprocessing, transformation, data mining, evaluation, and we have knowledge that have been stated before by Ibu Dekan, Ms. Dr. Tias, regarding the data preprocessing to data mining. Nowadays, every day we produce a lot of data. Most of it produced in the last 2 years. This indicates that the day that the speed of adding data is getting higher. Yeah. The volume getting high and the speed getting high also. This very large volume with the speed of addition is one of the main difficulties in mining data. According to one research, every day we create 2.5 quintillion. It means too many zero to be stated. Yeah, but it is the indication how actually a lot of data is not make us easy, but vice versa. And sometimes, in some cases, they make us getting trouble. For example, consume misinformation, hog information, misunderstanding information, and so on and negative side. This two picture is also show the fact that data will growing continuously with a very fast growth. The student or some of you is interested in this figure or the detail explanation regarding this, you can see in the reference that is easy to find out. So this is why data understanding and data preprocessing are the keys. I call the keys because without keys we cannot open the door to solve the problem. So we have to get the keys first. The first thing, the reason why I state the data understanding is the key is I call the paradoxical data. What this mean? The paradoxical data is, I mean actually the data is available very much. We have abundant data. We have very various data from various sources, from various format and other characteristic of data. Data is everywhere. Data is produced by every one of us, public companies, private companies, or government agency. But the availability of the correctness of the right and correct data is very difficult to be obtained. In fact, often the data that information that we get is garbage data, box, wrong information, etc. that can come with negative implication. At least based on my own experiences, it is very difficult to get data from data producer, from primary data producer, whether it is a government agency, private companies, or state-owned company. I don't know, maybe it's just different situation in Philippines, but it's in Indonesia, it is so difficult to get the raw data from primary sources because some reason. So this is the most problem that we, as a researcher, have to overcome. They have various reasons, so they are not willing to provide data for us. The most common are privacy and confidentiality, even though what we really want is data that is not private or is not confident. For example, we can eliminate the person ID or person the other person attribute that are confident or private. The second, the data itself is the problem, ranging from various formats. The volume is so large, so it's difficult to choose which the correct data one, and also poor of data quality due to various reasons, incomplete, ambiguous, missing, and unbalanced, and so on. Data understanding and data processing is also the key, because actually new method born from data. In data science or data mining, almost all algorithms are created because the data. If we face new characteristic of data, we try to find or to provide the new method that fit in with our data characteristic. For example, if we wish or we get data that between attribute, this is dependent between attribute, then we provide the naive bias classifier, for example. For sequence data, we have LSTM, long short-term memory method, and so on and so on. And the number 4, actually our data determine the method that we will choose to solve a certain problem. In the practice of solving data science and data mining problem, the characteristic of data determine the selection of the appropriate methods. Number 5, for practical purposes, many tools are available and ready to be used. For actually, mainly for our student, there is no need to create the new one of methods. They just analyze the data and then analyze the solution and then choose the right method, right tool. Source code, software, library can be fine and maximum be modified, but no need to create from scratch at all. But yes, method without data understanding and data processing is nothing. Sophisticated tools are meaningless without the understanding of the data. So this 5 or 6 reasons why I call the data understanding and data preprocessing is the key in data mining and data science area. Another fact is that the right data is very crucial for data science project. Data Science PM survey released in 2021 that 80% of data science file due to number 1 is not having the right data. This is supported by the result of study published in Data Science 2021. The other reason are not having right talent, solving the wrong problem, not correct or not precision in problem identification maybe, and the other one is not deploying value. Yes, the project data science is implemented, but the value is not come from them. I think all of us familiar with this jargon. This is catch in, catch out. If we give bad or wrong input to the system, surely the output will also bad and will not be useful for decision making. Even in certain cases, it can be dangerous for human healthy and human safety. In the next slide, I will show some of more analyze the impact that caused by the bad information or the bad data input that make the decision sometime wrong or bad. And 1900s, early this century, we can find the one example of case where incorrect data or incorrect information can harm humanity. This is the case of adding lead to the vehicle fuel. In this early century, General Motors add lead to the fuel, and to convince the public that the lead is not dangerous, they seem to do research and come to the conclusion that the lead is part of chemical element that naturally exists in the human body. So it seems not dangerous for human body because it's the integral part. The lead is understood as integral part of our chemical body. But later on, that it is known that in the fact, lead is harmful to the health and the human body. But yet, unfortunately, many people on the earth have become victims of lead pollution from this fuel. So I want to show how important is data, right data for our life in research or in practical life. The other, an example you can also find in the literature and reference. In World War II, to fight Allies, Nazi Germany made missiles that could hit the target correctly, precisely. Those missiles have been tried one or two and get the target correctly. But then the Allies massively produced false information that state that the Nazi missile needed to be recalibrated because it was always missed in target. And fortunately or unfortunately, Nazi Germany then believed and considered that this information was correct, and they recalibrate the missile. This recalibration caused the missile is to lose its precision. So maybe it's grateful for us or it's unfortunate, we don't know. Okay, also you can find in reference KNKT, Komite Nasional Keselamatan Transportasi, National Committee of Indonesia, that main responsibility is to investigate the accident in transportation. KNKT released some fact that it is the case of misinformation data that consumed by one of sensor of Boeing 737 MAX that used by Lion Airlines that crashed and down few times ago in Karawang Beach, West Java. According to KNKT press release, consumption of misinformation is one of the causes of this crash. One of the aircraft being control sensor consumed the wrong information that produced by one of the aircraft equipment. The consumption of wrong information causes the aircraft control system to make wrong decision and have fatal consequences. It is the little example also. Recently, there is also been wrong and detrimental decision. One of the COVID-19 PCR test services provider, provider test PCR COVID-19 PCR test, the officer incorrectly gave the positive COVID-19 test to the customer, but the customer that have been given the result, even though had no test at all. So the customer had not been yet tested at all, but the officer or the customer is sent the result that stated the COVID-19 that this customer is female, her COVID test is positive. Then later on, it is known and clarified that what was given was the result of another customer who has the same name, the same gender, and the same date of birth with the customer that received this test result. So the customer that received complained and getting angry to the officer, of course. In this case, the system or officer misunderstood the data. It should not be enough only use the name, date, event, and gender as the key to access the customer data. Yeah, there is some cases how important is data understanding and right data to be produced and to be used in our real practice. For some case, it's very dangerous for us in healthy or in safety. Okay, in this next session, I will show you review of data understanding and data pre-processing. But I think it's very common to us and more detailed, commonly discussed in many reference. So I will not present the detailed one regarding this topic. Data understanding, some main of data understanding, we have to understand well about data type and format regarding attribute and value data, data type, static and dynamic, or temporal data, spatial data, other kind of data. There is a distributed data, text, streaming, web, metadata, multimedia, and so on and so on. Our students that want to elaborate more can discuss later and also can find in the reference that discuss this data type and form. You must also understanding and get better understanding about the basic statistical description of data regarding motivation, data dispersion characteristic, some common term like median, maximum, minimum, quantiles, outlier, variant, etc. Also numerical dimension, correspondent to short intervals, data dispersion, box plot, or quantile analysis and sorted intervals. Also dispersion analysis and computed measure. Data visualization is also very important to be understood for several reasons. Mastery of visualization types and techniques will help you to understand and present information data in better way. Similarities and dissimilarity are useful for solving various data science and data mining problems. We know that almost of data science and data mining tasks, such as classification, clustering, and regression, are based on similarities and dissimilarities between data. So you have to know how similarity, dissimilarity, and proximity are constructed. Okay, in this, maybe this is this topic is new for some of us, but maybe some of us also have understand regarding this topic, which the topic is bachelor degree competency according AQRF, Philippine qualification standard, and Indonesia qualification standard. So in this in this section, I will present the competency requirement according to AQRF, the standard that applicable in the Philippines and also in Indonesia as well, which must be possessed by our graduates. And then I try to adapt the standard to the field of data mining and data science. I convey this material because I hope that our students understand the position and the competency requirements they must have to enter the practical work later if they want become a professional worker in data science or data mining. Okay. AQRF is a professional worker competency standard for Asian country. AQRF then become a reference for Asian country to define competency standard in each of countries. One of the uses of AQRF is for the purposes of worker traffic between ASEAN countries. If ASEAN countries have adopted this AQRF for certain field of work, for example, for data science field maybe, then the competence of professional recognized by one Asian country is also be recognized in the other country. So the other country or among of the country have the same understanding regarding the standard of qualification for certain field. For example, for data science or programming. As an example, if in Indonesia you are recognized as having competence in junior data analyst, then if you work in Philippines, you will automatically be recognized too as having competency of junior data analyst, because both of countries have applied the same standard and same qualification that refer to AQRF. Dear audience, AQRF is divided the competence. AQRF divides the competence of the professional workers into 8 levels. The lower level is level 1, and the higher level is stated as level 8. Each level requires certain knowledge, skill, and responsibility. For example, if you have the skill level 8, for general, you have to have knowledge and skill to be demonstrated, such as is at the most advanced and specialist level and the frontier of field. Involve independent and original thinking, research, resulting lesson and knowledge or practice. For common purpose, level 8 is equated or equivalent with the PhD level or doctoral level if it is practiced in academic environment or institution, higher institution environment, and so on. I will highlight in level 6. Level 6, both in Indonesia or in Philippines, is equivalent with graduates of undergraduate program, bachelor degree. So as a graduate or of undergraduate program, you, the student, has to demonstrate the knowledge and skill involve critical thinking and analytical thinking, specialist technique, and theoretical within a specific field. Actually, competency in Indonesia is a concept of 3 components. knowledge, skill, and attitude. But in AQRF, attitude is represented as application and responsibility. This is more like a soft skill, and this one is a hard skill. Okay. This is the equivalency of AQRF in Indonesia and in Philippines. Indonesia, there is 9 levels of competence, where level 3 and 4 are description or specialization, more detail of level 3 of AQRF. So graduates in Indonesia equal to level 7 according to Indonesian competency standard that we call SKKNI, Standar Kompetensi Kerja Nasional Indonesia. And Filipina also fully adopt AQRF which consists 8 level, and the bachelor or bachelor level is the same level with level 6 of AQRF. AQRF is used as a standard for professional workers in practical work. Meanwhile, for higher education institution, there are also standard adopted, the qualification standard, adopted by accreditation body. One of the accreditation body is the IABEE accreditation agency. IAB is a well-known accreditation institution for informatics study program. According to IAB, the knowledge and skill possessed by graduates of undergraduate program are analyze complex computing problem and apply. Just need to analyze and to apply a principle computing and other relevant. There is no need for graduate student to create the new one, whether it is method, algorithm, and so on. So, enough if they are able to analyze and to apply the solution to overcome the problem that they face. Another competency is to design, implement, and evaluate computing this solution to meet a given set computing requirement in the context of the program discipline. So the competency that is stated by IB is more or less is the specialization level 6 of AQRF for computer science field. And finally, for the field of data mining and data science, based on AQRF and IB, at least the following are the minimum knowledge and skill that must be possessed by our graduates of the undergraduate program. So, you student that will be graduates in from graduate bachelor degree or undergraduate program in data science field, you have to have capability to analyze business. This is understand the practical problem, collect data that fit in with the problem, analyze the data, include the understanding and visualization. You have to able to perform the data preprocessing and representation, and just choose and apply the right model to and understand it to solve the complex problem. So you have capability in complex problem solving as stated in AQRF and IB as well. So actually, you just use the selected tools that have ready to be used. So no need to create the new one. Okay, and the final part, I will present two of our study result that focus on data understanding and data preprocessing. The one of study is use open data set, and the rest is use the private data set that we collect by ourselves. The domain both of the research is in the medical field. The first research that I performed with my colleague is data representation. Actually, the novelty, the new thing in this research is data representation, not even in tools, because the objective of this result is to extract the drug name entity sources from medical text. The problem that we handled is, in general, almost of all state-of-the-art method work based on ad hoc knowledge. Ad hoc knowledge which is not always available. Yeah. Also need handcraft feature is another difficult, and the other is the problem is that left or rest still exist when we perform the study is there is need a multiple token representation for a single drug name. So in this study, we try to overcome all these problems that left by the previous studies. To solving the problem, we propose a method, 3 new data representation technique. Our focus is only in data representation. Three new data representation technique based on the characteristic of word distribution and word similarity. In this study, the key is the data understanding in word distribution, and word similarities. The data set and performed the research, as I said before, we faced the difficulties of getting the data set from. In the first step, actually, we want to use the data set that, if it can, be collected from Indonesia, but until the end of timeline, we could not find it. So we use the open data set. With use the open data set, actually we face the more big challenge, because naturally open data set has already been used by many researchers that maybe can able to provide a good method, good data representation, maybe, and so on. So it's very limited. So more limited to us to find the new one from the open data set. That the format of data set is text of drug prepared by drug bank and Medline medical open data set from same file competition 9.1. So the data set actually has been used as a material for machine learning competition. To validate our 3 proposed new data representation, we use existing method and tools, which is neural network, multi-layer perceptron. The second technique is the deep belief network and sparse auto encoder. And the latest one, we treat the medical text as a sequence data. So we use the suitable method that's for sequence data, which is RNN, or the variant is LSTM, long short-term memory. And the result is the third technique, our third technique of represent data gives the best F-score performed compared to the other state-of-the-art, with its average of score being 1.86. Our main important contribution in the research is the new data representation technique, which do not require any external knowledge or handcraft feature. So just use data as is and treat and represent it with our proposed technique to data representation for data representation. The drug extraction technique based on the word distribution contained in the training data. So the implication is it is no need to have the external knowledge beside the internal data set itself. Okay, and the second in the second studies, it is the study that performed by our student to try overcome to assess the medical officer and determine the class of disease or type of disease that suffered by a patient that come to the hospital. Objective of the study is to predict type of disease suffered by patient based on the result of doctor examination, which is the amnesis data. The problem, the data is only stored in database and use history without the use. So we try to make more valuable data by make support system decision to minimize medical errors. One of the challenge in medical data utilization is this data it possesses various format, structure, and unstructured as well. Our proposed method, the combination of its unstructured and structured data format to build a model for disease type prediction based on naive Bayes and artificial neural network classifier. It's quite simple. It is actually this is a research for final project of graduate students. The data set is medical data, amnesis data collected from a certain hospital located in Banten province, and validation, we examine naive Bayes and artificial neural network classifier to predict the type of disease classification that suffered by patient. The result, experimental research show that the general AN provide better performance than naive Bayes. In the random split dataset, the average accuracy performance naive Bayes is 80%, and so on. And the contribution is involvement of unstructured data from dataset in the word vector training process to improve the performance of the NN model, even though it is not significant. Okay, that's it. Honorable audience, the presentation from me. If you will know more, we can discuss and also can refer to the reference. Thank you so much. I'm sorry if there is some mistake or something wrong from my presentation. Thank you. I back to Pak Alan, please.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mujiono, for your lecture. From your lecture, I got some notes. Remind me to read. Apa? Sorry, I got disruption. Okay, it says Widodo, our president says today data is a new oil. Okay, and why data understanding and data processing are the key? Because there's so many new methods comes from data. And the other thing is the right data is very crucial. And from this lecture, we can find no quality data, no quality mining result. Okay, then data can be used in many area. And the other point is data visualization is very important. And what I can note here is if we mishandle the data, it may lead us to disaster. And the handling data, in handling data, there is very promising career path with predetermined standard. And the last, not least, is there is so many method and models can handle the data as needed. Okay, now this is our guest turn. Our guest is Mr. Doctor. Okay, let me read our responses. Miss Dr. John Vian Murcia, and he's the director of Institute of Economic Enterprise Studies, and his major competency area in developing research, marketing, business, and economic. He has experience from as research director, university statistician, graduate school professor, student mobility assistant, and research assistant. And now it's yours for Mr. John Vian Murcia. I cannot hear your sound.
Yeah, okay. So I'm already unmuted. So good afternoon, everyone, to our friends and partners from the University of from UBJ. Thank you very much for having me as one of your as your reactor for the presentation on data preprocessing is the key of data science. Some case studies. No, so while I was told to be the reactor of the presentation by Professor Mudjono Sadikin, no? But
No, no,
I also
Professor yet.
presented a slide as well so that I can add, I could have a complementary knowledge to share with our friends from Indonesia and our students here in the Philippines as well as our faculty members. So in my case, I could only share to everyone my starting experience in data analytics after I had some short stint of being the university statistician of our university. And it was actually reinforced because of my Master of Predictive Analytics from Curtin University in Australia. So before I start, just a very short activity, just before I start my talk, may I request everyone to at least participate in a very quick activity. So this is actually in relation to our data pre-processing. So you have to go to this particular link. You can type tinyurl.com/umubj2022, or you can scan the QR code below. So what you need to do is either click on that link or copy that link and or scan the QR code if you are using your mobile phone. And then you need to write down the following details as a post-it in that particular link. So the questions that you're going to post, the things that you're going to post in the site are your answers to the following questions. Number one, the cost of buying a sandwich in your cafeteria. Number two is the day to day. Number three is your daily allowance or the money that's in your pocket now. Number four is your current height. And number five, your current weight. Okay, so can I give like 2 minutes for everyone to do their response?
Not need to log in.
Yeah,
Mr.
okay.
John. Yeah.
Okay, you need to go to the site. You type
Okay.
tinyurl.com/umubj2022. Or you
Okay,
need to scan the
let
QR code.
let
Can
me
you access the link?
let me asking in tell them in bahasa. Oke, minta
Sure.
tolong untuk scan QR code yang ada atau bisa ikuti link yang sudah diberikan. Tolong diisi jawab pertanyaan-pertanyaan ini. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I would be monitoring everyone's answer here. So make sure that your post-it contains all the 5 responses, so that you will not post 5 post-its. Just one post-it containing 5 answers. Okay, that's very good. Okay, so it's indicated here, question for number 1, 100. And number 2, it's spelled April 21 with a comma 2022. Now for the second responder, he or she indicated here 15,000 rupees, 15,000 Indonesian rupiahs. And then 21 April 2022, and then 50,000 Indonesian rupiah, 174 point cm, and 97 capital kg, or 97 kilograms. Okay. Okay, once again, the cost of buying a sandwich or bread from your cafeteria, the day-to-day, your daily allowance, your current height, and your current weight. So another answer here is 1.35. Number 2 is APR 21 without a comma 2022. Number 3 is 100. Number 4, 160 centimeters cm, and 60 kilograms for number 5. 2 more responses, and I would tell you the rationale of this activity. Okay, another one, 35, April 21, 22, 100, 165 cm, 99 without a space, kilogram, or kj. Okay, we have completion of the first respondent. Number 3 is 500 php, small letters. Number 4, 165 centimeter, and number 5, 55 kilograms. Okay, so what can you observe? You can actually, I can actually say that the prices of sandwich would be different in Indonesia, and the prices of sandwiches here in the Philippines would be different because we have different currencies. But even if there are similar currencies for the price of the sandwich from the cafeteria and the amount of money that you have in your pocket, you can see that there are differences when it comes to writing the response. Now imagine all of those responses being captured from a large number of people in the Philippines, especially if in case it's logged in a particular site or in a particular social media network like Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. So you can imagine that these particular data could come in different forms and different structures, which have which have implications. When we say implications, that means we need to understand that data pre-processing is a key towards understanding what kind of data it is, so that we can have a further knowledge on how to make it more easy to clean and more easy to analyze, ready for data understanding, data processing, and conversion of it into information. So like what is being said a while ago by Dr. Mujono, I actually found it very familiar when he said that 60% of the task or the daily task of a data scientist like us is dedicated in cleaning and organizing data sets. So imagine that if in case you're going to have 10 hours, 6 of these hours is dedicated for cleaning and organizing data sets. I could actually relate because in the University of Mindanao with at least 25,000 undergraduate students, imagine harmonizing all of those information, their addresses into something relatable. And that actually takes a lot of time on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. Now, 19% of that is on collecting data sets. So imagine that we can actually say that collection of data sets through primary and secondary sources could actually be perceived to be one of the most difficult or one of the most taxing, or it could take a lot of time, but actually the cleaning and organizing of the data set actually consumes a lot of our time. So this particular infographic is taken from Crowd Fowler 2016, and after several surveys conducted amongst data scientists in 2017, 2018, and 2019, the rank of the rank of cleaning and organizing data that remains to be the topmost taxing and the topmost task that spends or eats a lot of time amongst data scientists. So remember that in data science, we are particular with the value of data like an oil. It's like it's considered to be the new oil, and in fact, a lot of articles, a lot of magazines actually say that data science is one of the most promising careers in the 21st century. In fact, Harvard Business Review actually said that works or jobs related to data science are considered to be the sexiest job of the 21st century. Why is that so? Because we are actually providing a lot of information, crucial information for decision making of top management, whatever industry that they are engaged with. So, in fact, those particular data that we have could actually come in volumes or hordes of data waiting for us to analyze it. The question is that when are we going to understand the essence of this data set in our lives as workers? So we need to make sure that we are data driven and we follow this particular paradigm, which is the analytic life cycle. So we need to understand that this follows a cycle where in fact we are expected to define business questions, what particular task you perform to add value to the organization, how is data-driven decision making contributing towards the attainment of your goals. You need to align your KPIs or key performance indicators, what particular sources of data and what particular modes or methods of data analysis you're going to do in order to create meaningful information in the end. Now, this would actually follow the design of data-driven approach to address questions. It's very imperative that we identify or to realize that there are a lot of data types. We have a lot of sources of those data types, and each of them would mean that they have different structures or different cleaning methods. After getting those, we need after realizing those, we need to get and transform this data and harmonize them, explore the necessary features and report them so that it could have comparability or in terms of understanding, and we could harmonize everything into one single piece of information. After which we need to proceed to the analysis to create actionable analytics and ask feedback from our decision makers on how can they decide or to create policies that could actually improve their KPIs. So here are the specific tasks or groupings of data science works. This is actually a comparison of data management versus data analytics as defined by Gandomi and Haider in 2015. So this figure actually provides groupings or clustering of tasks under data management and under analytics under one specific ecosystem of data science or big data analytics. So under data management, we have data acquisition and recording. This is creating systems and capturing those relevant information that could actually simplify our task of integrating those data sets. Now, after integrating them in in a database or from different sources, we extract them, we clean them, and provide annotation so that we can have an understanding of each of these data sets on their raw form. Next one is integration, aggregation, and representation. Together, these three major tasks fall under data management. On the other hand, for data analytics, there are two major tasks. We have modeling and analysis. That's the use of different algorithms in order to simulate or to understand the patterns of those data sets. And the other one is interpretation. So after you glean those patterns or to get those insights or actionable or those uh, information that could actually be meaningful for the decision making, you would interpret them in such a way that they would create actions, or we call them actionable analytics. Since the management are not technical people, challenge for data scientists is to laymanize these data sets, data analysis, and technical stuff into something of a business language so that they would understand where they will provide specific interventions, specific improvements, and improvements of policies within the firm or within the organization. So being data-driven would actually post a self-reflection on our functions in our organization. Our organization has a total goal or an overall organizational goal. And part of that are employees with different functions. And each of these employees have specific goals to perform. Now, in the achievement of those goals, we need to ask, how could we possibly do this? What could be the possible data sets that we can use? How could I make my decision making better? How could I make my presentation for data for the analysis or for my KPIs or deliverables easier to understand? How could I make the decision making not taxing for the decision makers in the company? And each of those questions that you pose, which are sub goals or your deliverables for the day, have specific data sets or have specific data that could be presented to achieve that overall goal. Why am I saying this? Because analytics should actually be not viewed on an organizational level only, but on an individual capacity, since each of us are designed to be part and parcel of the decision making of the company. So this is an example of, this is actually a diagram that shows the process and the flow of how data are actually creating or helping in the creation of informed business decisions. So we have data sets here. They can be categorized as seen data or observed data. And we also have unseen data. So these are data sets or these are forms of data that are not readily available or that are not really obvious, but then you realize that they add context to your seen data, and that actually means that these two types of data come together and make the decision making process much reliable because one validates the other. So all of this or these two types of data sets are actually very meaningful in creating different models. In my case, my specialization is predictive analytics. That's why one of my major tasks in the university is to create predictive models. So some of those predictive models would be me providing the possible threshold of grades that would be maintained by students in order for them to actually pass the board exam. Now, we do that as part of our quality assurance processes here in the university. And being able to do so would mean that you need to have a large number of data from previous students in order for us to create a model we're going to validate amongst the current enrolled students. Because of that, because of the models that we're building and validating from time to time, we create semestral, monthly, term, or even weekly and daily actionable analytics. Or these are activities that would lead towards faster decision making among key process owners and even the top management. Together with these actionable analytics are established standards or objective metrics from our accrediting bodies, regulatory agencies, and some government institutions that accredit or provide guidance to us. These are actually forming part of informed business decisions. If these are the analytics expected from coming from our data, and these are the deliverables from accrediting or regulatory agencies, then we're going to harmonize that to create informed business decisions. And then all of those will trickle down again to our frontline staff or to our every departments or functionaries. So we're going to go back to the structures, different structures of data. So um, if in case you have if in case you're not aware that there are different forms or structures of these data. So we have structured data, which are actually coming from database. They might capture specific data or information on some of your profiles. It could be coming in a form of text, or they could be Boolean characters, or they could be text characters, or they could be choices. Okay. So sometimes our database are actually asking for structured data already. So that's not really a problem when it comes to collation of these data no, into something that can be converted into information. But there are other sources of data sets. We also have sensors, and we also have semi-structured and unstructured data sets. So an example of those semi-structured or unstructured data are coming from social media. So if in case we wanted to know who among your social networks in Facebook or in Twitter are actually agreeing on a particular issue or not agreeing with you in a particular issue, you can actually do that. You can actually provide or create a social media network analysis. And then there are also other unstructured sources of data which are in the form of videos. You need to have higher level algorithms in order to establish the patterns as well as to mine meaningful information in this in order to create meaningful information for a specific purpose. Together, these types of data actually pass different processes under data science. Of course, it starts with problem definition, cleaning, transforming, integrating, exploring, modeling, and predicting. The predicting is my most favorite part because you can actually have something to anticipate in the future. So if in case you are interested to know about these data science works under predictive analytics, there are a lot of algorithms, statistical analysis that would actually help you to create future scenarios based on available data. So the data life cycle includes the following tasks. They are actually clustered in these particular tasks under defined business questions. You need to go back to what your objectives are to achieve your business goals and to provide business advantages. So decision makers in the company could actually help in the data life cycle by creating or identifying your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. All of those need data in the first place. Second part is managing, collecting, and finding or creating data, which includes existing corporate data assets or those in our web pages or from our databases or even from our printed documents. And then other sources come from other sources, which would come from other companies or from communication from outside agencies or even from our customers. Third is to transform the data. This is very crucial. Here comes data processing. I would agree with the statement of our first speaker a while ago, who actually said that understanding could only become clear when data processing is considered. And at the same time, the understanding of data processing could actually be futile if in case you would not understand what the data is all about and what would it mean for the attainment of your objective. The fourth one is to answer the business question. You could actually do some activities related to this, such as exploring, analyzing, and visualizing data. So one of my favorite tasks or activities in my business analytics classes would actually be giving data sets, just unclean data sets to my students, and then I would provide them tasks and I would ask them to graph, plot, or create data visualizations out from it. So they're actually presenting different graphs or plots depending on the variables or features that they have identified. And second is building models and predicting outcomes. So data management includes not only those activities, but they include metadata management, like including tasks like discovery and registry, data governance, which includes manual processes and automation of processes, establishing data quality, in which they're going to make sure that all of their sources of data are connected and not in silos. And the other one is to identify methods and tools. That includes a wide array or arsenal of softwares for data analysis, data warehousing, data cleaning, data exploration, data wrangling, and others. So I'm uh, one of the things that actually become a challenge to everyone under this one is learning programming languages like Python and R, because they would enable you, or learning them would enable you to understand how you're going to harmonize data sets, how you're going to ensure that these data could actually be stored correctly, and how to analyze to present data in terms of different visualizations. Okay, so what are the research issues that challenge our practitioners of data science? According to Hashem and colleagues in 2016, the understanding of the appreciation of data science and data analytics is actually on its infantile state. That means it's not even a full-grown appreciation of what the profession has to do with businesses. Of course, we understand that it would be a long shot. It's an ongoing process. The understanding of data science not only transcends from a simple understanding of algorithms, but also its applications to daily decision making. The challenges include, business challenges. How do business make use of the value of data science and analytics in their decision making? So most of these businesses are very traditional, especially here in the Philippines, as they see that investing in training, seminars, and even acquisition of different infrastructure or software could actually mean additional investment, and they could not actually see the value that these particular things would bring to the table. Second one is planning, sustainability, the source of markets and customers, cost of acquiring, let's say, technologies. If there are cases of smart cities being successful in deployment of data analytics technologies in order to curb their traffic incidences, crime incidences, as well as to make their electricity monitored by technologies, or the smart use of sources of electricity or power. Other issues include cloud computing integration and technology and data management challenges, such as privacy, data analytics, data integration, GIS-based visualization, among others. So this is a specific presentation of challenges in terms of clinical challenges based from a biomedical research published in Biomed Research International. That's taken from Bell and colleagues in 2015. These are applications of big data analytics in healthcare. So these are data science related processes, and these are actual descriptions or context of those problems. So for example, for sharing and security, we have integrity, privacy, and confidentiality. And in healthcare, confidentiality of clinical records and patient details are very important and absolute. So we also have problems related to validation, and that's an objective evaluation of performance or accuracy with annotation. So if in case there are specific tasks of identifying or monitoring specific tumors based on data sets available, and then you're going to train that large data set in order to classify incoming MRI results, then you need to understand that algorithms and technology have limitations as well. And then the output of your analysis should not become absolute or should not be on its finality, considering that you need to humanize and laymanize those results into something that only people or human beings like us can understand. Remember that technologies evolve through time, and they should actually be trained. Our algorithms have to be trained in context of the data sets that are coming as of today. And we also have specific challenges here like registration, parallelization, compression, and pre-processing. These are very relevant issues that doctors and hospitals uh, actually encountering in the global setting. But such a case is actually not actually on a mature state or maturity level here in some hospitals in the Philippines, because primarily this is a big investment among hospitals, and the integration of this particular value added activities would mean a challenge, especially for hospitals with no additional investment. So that basically ends my presentation. I would leave you this particular quotation I got from an anonymous researcher who actually says that whoever holds the data holds the power. So thank you very much for having me, and thank you very much to our partners from UBJ for organizing a particular discussion of data science. It really gives a joy in my heart that this particular event is actually a promotion also of our business analytics program. And here we are sharing best practices within the two countries. Dagang salamat.
Okay, thank you, Professor John Vian Murcia, for the great presentation. And now it's time to discussion. If you have any question, you can me raise hand. And okay, is there any question? You may. Okay, I will speak in bahasa. Boleh bertanya dalam bahasa Indonesia, and I will translate it. Okay, ada yang mau bertanya? Okay, Mr. Ajit, he looks like want to have question.
Hello, can you hear? Yeah, I have a question.
Masih mute. Ya udah. Oh, udah.
To Dr. Mujiono and also maybe Dr. John also, both of you were very, very nice. Thank you for very, very nice presentation, very, very nice, and I'm honored to this event because both of presentation very, very good. I want to asking Dr. Mujiono, you say like 87% data scientists fail because of data and not using the right data. So what is indicator? What is indicator for to say to confidence this the right data can be used? And because something we find also like the data itself, there is a missing data. The data itself is not the good size. So what is the indicator for the right data?
Okay, Sir Mujiono first.
Okay, thank you so much, Ajit. Wide question, I guess. have to answer, yeah. Okay. Actually, the research, the survey is before I answer about the education of data. Yeah, actually not only data science project majority fails. Actually, software development project also, IT project development is also, and we have experience about this. Yeah, this is well about the time over time, budget over budget, and so on. Right? So. What the education? Okay, according to my experience, the to convince that the data is right, you have to first thing you have to get from the right sources. Yeah, the data that come from primary sources is more valid or is guarantee more high quality. Then compared to the secondary resource, for example, yeah, if you just get data from maybe BPS, the site website BPS, yeah, this is a data aggregation. This is a secondary sources. It is not good. It's not right even to indicate the data is valid or the data is in good quality. But sometimes, because there is no availability of primary data, you have to use the secondary data also. And the second thing, the parameter is you not just only use the data, but you also have validate the data. How validate data? There is many tools to validate data. You can use the correlation, the many tests of statistical tests, and so on. Yeah, this the And the other way is to conform to the PIC, actually who the producer data. Yeah. Actually, we have to do the cross check to the main sources of the data producer. Yeah. Okay, I think this is two important things that guarantee. It's not indication, but guarantee to make the better quality of our data. Yeah. I hope a little bit answer your question. Yeah, not completely, I think. Thank you.
Won't be complete if Professor John can
Okay.
complete the answer.
Okay, thank you very much. I have really experiences. I have experiences actually here in the Philippines that could actually be an example of that. First and foremost, we are challenged on some specific issues in the organization that prompts us to choose between doing or to gather the data primarily from primary sources, or we do it ourselves. And there are also possibilities that we would rely on secondary data in the absence of primary data. So the choice between primary and secondary data depends on the particular problem that we have in the organization. So depends also on the possibility of if in case that data stands alone, or there could be other data sets that could actually become proxy variables or proxy data sets for that. Now, the choice of primary data is actually good. It could actually provide a particular picture on a scenario or a specific event that is confronting the organization. Let's say the enrollment data for the current semester. That's actually okay. But there are also specific data sets that could actually be from secondary sources that are much more reliable. So it depends, the issue on reliability and validity of these data is a challenge, especially for data scientists, because data scientists should not actually jump into the analysis of these data sets, but rather create specific tests that would validate the accuracy and validity of the sources of this data. Second one is, while secondary data is seen to be is actually seen here in the Philippines as less or inferior compared to primary data, but the secondary data coming from reliable agencies, or those that actually keep them, especially government agencies, are much more trustworthy because they're actually gathered and they're actually normalized and standardized using different processes. On the other hand, primary data can only actually pick or can actually represent a particular phenomenon at the point where they are taken, and they are actually subject to changes. That's the cross-sectional nature of that data set. However, choosing between the two is actually not actually necessary, because you can actually have an analysis that integrates the value of the primary data and the secondary data. A big challenge for our researchers, especially from the computer science, from business analytics, and from IT, is to make sure that the data that they have gathered are actually validated and come from valid sources.
Yeah, thank you very much. I mentioned you one of you said like depend on organization. So the PIC, for example, read our data preprocessing and see that it's not good to use. So depend on the PIC, right? So like the decision making for we just analyze the data, and then the PIC for organization can be making decision of our data is used or not. This is very, very nice. Maybe sometimes because we just using data science tools that the data is not completed yet, but we confidence or not confidence is depend on what the organization belongs to. So I'm very, very thank you very much for the answers. Thank you, both of you.
Okay. we still have time here. If anybody want to give more question to our speakers, if there anybody, you may raise hand. Okay, I think.
Any questions from our folks from the Philippines?
Okay.
It's your time to shine.
Okay, if there no more question, I give this opportunity to Mr. Ajif.
Thank you. I think before we end this event, let me award the certification of appreciation to the speaker. Oh,
there
one of question from Napre Almario. Okay.
Okay, I will read question. Since Dr. Murcia mentioned while ago that in the country, data science is still not that well accepted. So how we encourage the one student to study and enroll data science, two accompany to data-driven organization.
This is this is actually a very serious question, and I know that folks like you guys can actually relate to this because we are actually on the hype. We are actually we are in a particular stage where we're introducing something that could actually be helpful for our universities, for our businesses, but then we are also confronted by challenges that data science is not well subscribed, or that is it's not well known to most of our students. So for NAPRE, he actually asked that in the Philippines, even though there's a growing demand, it's a gradual growing demand and a gradual understanding of the value of data-driven decision making in companies or firms, and that these firms have to tap our talents, data science, in order for their business goals to be achieved. There seems to be a very pale enrollment data that's coming into universities. And number two, organizations still see this as a huge investment. It would take a lot of time to train employees and to actually have an idea that customer data could actually be useful in decision making. So in my case, for the Philippines, organizing activities like this and informing our faculty members on the recent trends of information technology and computer science, and that includes data science and deep learning, could actually be could have huge contribution to the discussion of data science. For one, practitioners of data science are actually people coming from computer science, from information technology. So gradual integration of these technologies in research agenda, in the development of systems and the deployment of these systems to organizations could actually make companies understand the value of data science and data-driven decision making. For students, I really encourage everyone to consider this particular career. You may be surprised that when you go abroad, there is a huge quote unquote craving for people like us because of the competencies that we can bring into the table, especially in making their decision making very, very easy. So they might see us as the stats guy or the people from the IT, but beyond the analysis that we do are actionable analytics that we could contribute to make companies, firms, or organizations succeed and attain their goals. How about for
And
Maybe we can hear from perspective from Indonesia.
yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Can I? Yeah. I will add some additional explanation regarding the data science demands. in Indonesia, I think it's almost in every country right now that data scientist is the most wanted professional to NIT, information technology area. Indonesia as a government has a big concern regarding this. Like I said before, President Jokowi has stated that the data is the most important, as important as oil, more maybe. But actually, our government has also released X. X is peraturan presiden X of law, president law number 39, 2019, that govern the we call One Data Indonesia, Satu Data Indonesia. There is need more data scientists, more data analytics. This is an policy area. Me myself have experiences in right now since last year. I also involved in one of ministry of a small enterprise, small medium enterprise company and cooperation. That right now they found they set up the Satu Data or one big data for small medium enterprise company. This is many challenges, many opportunity to be involved in this field. It's just only one ministry. We do not talk about the other ministry yet. In the practice area, I also have experience manage before I joined Universitas Bhayangkara. I was IT director of one private university in Jakarta that have a huge number of students. I act as IT director. My experience is I have one engineer that can handle data analysis with Tableau. I think you all of you know Tableau, yeah. I train him. I train him for just 3 months how to use data to import Excel, to import data from MySQL, to use Tableau, to present the dashboard regarding academic and so on. And what's happened? 3 months later, Bukalapak hijacked these guys with 3 or 4 times salary compared to current salary. So I lost this guy, and there is not only one time, many times like that. So Indonesia, Asian country, a shortage of data scientists in various occupations, starting from junior data analyst, data engineer, and so on and so on. So don't be worried if you become a data scientist. Many opportunity waiting for your contribution, guys. Thank you, Pak Alan, Pak Azif.
Okay, maybe we can hear the comment from Professor John.
Actually, it's just it's an addendum to what I have shared a while ago. No, so I could actually share my a little bit disappointment with the current scenario that we have in the data science. There are a lot of jobs, good paying jobs. The ASEAN community has a framework to establish data science, and these things to integrate or to be integrated in our industries. And I could actually relate with Mojono, like with Dr. Mojono, because we lost a lot of good talents who are actually good data scientists, who are actually starting data scientists, and they were really good. But then because of lack of opportunities and because of there have been less takers for the job, they can actually demand for more salary abroad. So that's one. Second one is I hope that students would really, if in case they would learn from this profession, they could actually realize that they are in the right profession, especially at the right time. So the COVID-19 pandemic has taught us a lot that data about COVID, visualizations of COVID data, as well as reporting of those infographics is already an indication that people are starting to have interest in data science. And crucial for that is getting the correct data and processing the correct data set.
Okay, thank you. And any more question? You know, in Indonesia there are so many unicorn company here,
Yeah.
and they need a lot of data science. So the opportunity is still open.
Of course.
Okay. Okay, is there any question? Okay, I'll give back to Pak Ajif.
Okay, thank you very much to to Dr. Mujiono Sadikin and Dr. John Vianney Murcia and also Mr. Alan Alexander. It's very, very nice lecture, very, very nice knowledge you share with us. And I hope this not just also it's not sharing collaborative lecture, but also in the future we can maybe between Universitas Bhayangkara Jakarta Raya dan University Mindanao and also research collaborations.
There is one question from chat room, Pak Ajif, if you have.
Oh yes. One of. Okay. Should we respond right now or give back to Pala?
Okay. Okay. What kind of expertise that we have to handle data mining? Okay, this is the question from Muhammad Alvin Said. He's one of our students. Maybe you can answer.
Okay, I can answer first, maybe, and then but Dr. Murcia will be at the explanation, yeah, will at the explanation. Okay, can I answer in bahasa Indonesia, Pak?
Okay, boleh Pak.
Okay.
Tapi after this you must translate.
Oh, also.
Can be understood.
Okay, thank you, Muhammad Alvin, for the question. Good question. So, what the skill that you have to have in data mining or data science? Yeah, there is various skill ranging from data collection. Data collection itself is need some method or some technique for collection. You have to learn about the survey, interview, direct exploration, direct observation, and so on. After data collection, you have to understand the data. Yeah, how do you understand the data? You have to the characteristic. Maybe you have to have knowledge and skill about the statistic. Yeah, what is the mean, what the median, what the quantile, and so on and so on. And then you have to know and practice about that data validation to check is the data valid or if data is the data normal or not. You can use the validation data or testing tool like C-square, like correlation test, and so on. Yeah. This is the method, yeah. Method. After data understanding, you have to prepare the data preprocessing. How to handle the missing data, for example. How to handle the missing value of attribute. Maybe use the mean value, maybe use the random value. Maybe if the missing data is too much, you can just eliminate, and so on and so on. So you have to understand, and many more. We can discuss more detail because it's not enough time to dig to it. We do not discuss about the tool itself. Many tools out there, starting from Excel, data rapid miner, WK, Python, and so on and so on. We can talk after, yeah. Actually, and in Indonesia, data scientist profession is divided into we call as some occupation, starting from that junior data analyst, data engineer, senior data scientist, and so on and so on, and it is all of this is stated in SKKNI of data science. SKKNI is stated from Standar Kompetensi Kerangka Kerja Nasional Indonesia. Qualification reference from for professional work of data science. We have released it. Okay, I think this is a brief explanation regarding the question what the skill and competency that must be have in data mining or data science. Time to you, Pak Alan or Mr. Musia.
Okay, so in addition to the inputs of Mujiono Sadikin, I would actually add specific competencies that you need to have. For one is, of course, you need to have strong observational skills because these are necessary in order to identify what kind of data and what these data are for. And then we go back to that data understanding. So of course, the study of data science would require you not only to know basic statistics for one, but also how you're going to handle those data in different softwares. I could actually recall my experience 10 years ago when I started first to become a practicing statistician, given that my background is business. I only realized that when you are interested with numbers and that you have Microsoft Excel, that would be the start of your data science career. Okay, because that would be the start of you learning different algorithms, different softwares. And now when you have large data sets coming from different databases, and if in case you have that skill of keen observation of specific patterns, they could be revealed graphically or numerically, then you can actually create meaningful hypothesis, and then you can actually draw out meaningful conclusions out from that. Then that would be the start and constant practice of it. I started with just tutorials in YouTube, and then attending in several free courses online, massive online, open online courses, and then getting certifications. We have a specific program here in the Philippines from our Department of Science and Technology, and that's Sparta program. That's a program intended to create 30,000 data scientists up until 2022. And I am one of the recipients together with some of the students here of the university. And the intention is to make data science ecosystem a conversation. It should be a normalized discussion in the field. It should be a normalized discussion in the offices that every function of every person with a specific function comes KPIs at the end of the day, and that includes data. And finally is you should have that burning interest because data science, like any other interesting stuff that you're keen to understand or study, also needs time, it also needs effort, and it also needs motivation in order for you to become a better person.
Okay, thank you, Pak Mujiono, Professor John, and I think the time is up, and we have to end it. So, I give back to Pak Ajif again.
Diulang kembali.
This is the third time you give me, so I just make sure there is no question again, and we will to the end of this event. Okay, before we end this event, let me award the certificate of appreciation to the speaker, to the discussion response, and to the moderator. Okay, first to Dr. Mujiono Sadikin, MT, CGEIT, for sharing his time and wisdom as the resource speaker during the University of Mindanao and University of Bhayangkara Jakarta Raya International Collaborative Lecture Series with the theme 14 International Collaborative Lecture Series, Data Preprocessing is the key of data science with some study.
Thank you.
Please give applause, everyone. Okay, second, a certificate of appreciation awarded to Dr. John Vianney Murcia for sharing his time and wisdom as the rector during the University of Mindanao and Universitas of Bhayangkara Jakarta Raya International Collaborative Lectures Series with the theme 14 International Collaborative Lecture Series, Data Processing is the key of data science with some study cases. Please give applause, everyone. And the third certification of appreciation awarded to Mr. Alan D. Alexander, S.Si, and Co. for sharing his time and wisdom as the moderator during the University of Mindanao and University of Bhayangkara Jakarta Raya International Collaborative Lecture Series with the theme 14 International Collaborative Lecture Series, Data Preprocessing is the key of data science with some study cases. Okay, the third certificate signed by two university president of University of Mindanao, Dr. Guillermo P. Torres Jr. and Dr. Andes Bambang Karsono as a rector University of Bhayangkara Jakarta Raya. So we have reached the end of the 14 International Collaborative Lecture Series with the proposed topic Data Preprocessing is the key of data science with some study cases. Everyone, please open the camera. We can. I would like to take a picture for this event before we end. Okay, I will beginning with. I will count 1, 2, 3. Smile. Second, I will 1, 2, 3. Okay, the third, the last time. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you very much. We are truly grateful for your valuable contribution and attendance. Thank you again. Thank you very much. Salamat po.
Thank you, Dr. Murcia. Thank you, Pak Steve. Thank you, Pak Alan.
See you soon,
everybody.
everyone.
Yes.
Banyak itu.